Hey, hello, my beautiful people. Got you on my balcony porch here and just got out of the shower, so excuse the hair. But I wanted to talk and get some feedback from all of you brilliant minds out there about the budget bill that's kind of been, you know, thrown by the wayside as far as talking points on the news or anywhere because of bigger things going on like the war and everything. But I want to talk about 5 different things in the bill I don't know if you know about, and I'd also like to know what you think because uh, I don't think they're great things and they aren't being talked about. So, number one, um, one of the things that's in this budget bill for some reason is it literally takes away the power of lower judges. So it eliminates a level of checks and balances, if you will, by getting rid of the power of the judges. This is legal if it's passed through the Senate and the House. So this can be done. Um, Personally, I don't think it's a good idea to give any more power to one branch because that's why our founding fathers set up 3 branches of government. And the judicial is very important. And one of the reasons we have had such a strong bond and money and, you know, people wanting to invest in the U.S. is because of our checks and balances. Because it doesn't mean one person can change everything at a whim, or a Democrat or Republican coming in. Okay, moving next. Okay, this is really upsetting. I think you should know that. It also, and Marjorie Taylor Greene came out and literally said, I wouldn't have signed this, I didn't see it, which is upsetting enough that our representatives are not, you know, uh, reading the bills, especially when things like this are found. This has to do with AI. Now, listen, AI is a great thing. AI can also be very dangerous. And in this bill, it gives the federal government the jurisdiction over all AI in America. The reason that's upsetting is because obviously states' rights are what makes us the United States and what makes us great. We all have different things we want. Taking that away from the states for 10 years to me is incredibly suspect. And obviously, a bunch of Republicans came out and said they were sorry they signed the original bill. So it must be heinous because it seems both the Dems and the Republicans don't like it. I don't know enough about AI, but if anyone has information or can tell me what you think, please, add the comment and let us know. For all, the third one is this cuts. Well, you've heard about the cuts from USA ID, or I think it's called. Sorry if I'm getting that wrong, but that's where we help poor nations around the world, suffering countries that are starving. Well, right here in America, we have starving people and starving children, and it's a sad, sad thing. But this cuts food to our most needy children in America, school lunches and food stamps to I guess the mothers or the caretakers and even I guess the foster parents. And this is just, I don't know. I find it horrible. It's like this, we. I had a neighbor say to me, literally, I had a neighbor say to me, I'm a Christian, so I don't mind paying for children's lunches or their shoes. I just don't want to pay for brown kids' lunches and shoes. Okay. I just want to say, ICE, 5 months in, is currently $1 billion over budget. They picked up those, as far as I understand. And if you guys have something to say to me here, you want to throw in your opinion, I'd love to hear it. Opening the doors for all conversations, I think, is really important right now, and to stop the hate. And it's been very hard. Believe me, I understand. They are taking away people now that are working. My girlfriend in California was at a Walmart and they literally came in and grabbed the guy that was helping her in the auto parts store. These are not criminals. These are not dangerous gang members. These are people working alongside, Americans. Anyway, ICE is billion over budget, which is illegal, I might add, and buys a lot of shoes and buys a lot of food for starving kids of all colors. Okay, moving on. This is, I think, one of the worst, is that the tax cuts that they fired so many people under Doge, right? We never really saw anything come out, the numbers that proved anything, but we do know a lot of our friends and neighbors that lost their jobs, right? That happened in the name of cutting down the national debt, right? Okay, let's have a talk about this. We all know that for some reason, Social Security doesn't seem to be solvent in more than 10 years, even though we all paid into it our whole lives, and they should have kind of set aside our money to make interest. That would have seemed like the thing to do with the people's money and the people's future that we paid into, right? I mean, as an author, I had to pay double because I didn't have an employer. So literally every 4 months, I had to pay like a whole wad of money for Social Security. And acting like it's running out doesn't really make sense because it was already paid for. But somehow, that's what they're saying. And the same goes with health care, Medicare, Medicaid. Trump said he'd never touch it, but that's untrue because it's in the bill. It's in the bill, and it's one of the biggest cuts, almost $1 trillion, I think they're cutting out of this, which means, in essence, that's almost the entire amount of the money they spend. Now, Medicare and Medicaid are either for the elderly, or for the very poor, or for people that are, say, you get fired and you lost your health insurance, and all of a sudden you need health insurance to help you until you can afford to get your own and get a new job, or you get a new job that covers that, which those are less and less. And so, that, I think it's Medicare, okay, that it catches you, is that safety net, so you can, you're caught for a moment until you get back up, okay? Where this goes with immigrants, I don't know. I do know, we don't let anyone die on our doorstep. I don't think anybody actually gets health care on the regular, but I don't know. That may be state by state. In any case, neighbors of mine, neighbors of yours, are going to lose their health care, and they can't afford it. I know so many people that are just, they can't afford it when they get an extra $50 bill or something. It's like they can't afford this, and that means people are going to die. And that's not hyperbole. They're going to die. And worse yet, not worse yet, and along with that, many hospitals are going to close because these subsidies, right, of Medicare and Medicaid kept a lot of hospitals and clinics open, especially in the poorer states, mostly the red states that really don't have a lot of hospitals, don't have a lot of money, and so it's hard to keep them open. So they'll be especially hurt. And this is heinous. It's heinous, okay? It's heinous to let people die, basically, because they don't have enough money, and because their own representatives have decided that it's not worth it for them to live. We all heard Joni Ernst saying we're all gonna die. Well, maybe if it was your son, your daughter, your husband, Joni Ernst, you might be okay with dying, and whenever that is, but you might want to see your child live a little longer, and that's what a lot of people are facing. So I think this is especially egregious, and I'd love to hear what you think about this one. Finally, my friends, I think the worst insult of all, after we saw so many friends lose their jobs, lose their livelihoods, veterans, so many veterans just fired, and then on top of they cut veteran services, they cut their VA services, mental health, which might be the majority of them need. Let's face it, you go in and you kill people when you're a normal American on behalf of saving the rest of us, and then you come back and they decide they don't want to take care of you, mind, body, and spirit. Well, they put their self on the line, mind, body, and spirit, and I think it's a horrible thing to do to our veterans. But finally, the reason is they're doing all this, these cuts to the American people, to the poor, to the children, taking away hospitals and Medicare and health needs, things that'll kill people, okay? It's to give more money to the rich. And originally, when they did the budget, it looked like it was going to be about $4 trillion added to our debt. Our debt is currently $35 trillion. Okay, the truth is, like Clinton balanced it, and then in comes the whole Iraq War and all that stuff, sent it through the roof. Obama also was able to bring it down, but then COVID came in through the roof, and now here we are. And this is just because our president wants to give more money to the richest people on the planet. That's the only reason. And the budget analysts that recently came out said it's closer to $15 trillion. So we are like gutting middle America, middle America. And I believe me, I have friends that make a lot of money, very close to me. And they are not even getting tax cuts from this president. It's only the billionaires. And why do you think he has 13 billionaires in his cabinet? Why do you think they were surrounded in his inauguration? He is giving them money. They came for the money. And this is how great countries get stolen from and end up bankrupt. This kind of wealth transfer going on right in front of us. So, my friends, that's 5 things you might not have known were in this disastrous BBB bill that I'm not even going to name because it sounds like a toddler named it. It is a disastrous bill. It's like calling the Patriots Act patriotic, and we all know the Patriots Act allowed then our government to spy on us. And this bill is going to bankrupt us and kill your elderly friends and small children. I'd love to know how you feel about this, but just in case you didn't know, that's what's in the bill. And what you can do is call the White House. You can call your senators, and you can tell them, no tax cuts for the rich on our backs. Not only on our backs, on our great-great-grandchildren's backs. This is an abomination. I don't care if you're red or blue. The entire United States is going to be hurt by this. It's going to be poorer for it, and that's not what we were promised.